Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm just going to do another recipe today, and this one in particular is one of my favourite soups. It's lentil and cardamom, and it's really it's just delicious. You can have it any time of the day really. I mean, I tend to have it for lunch if I have it at all, but you know, you can have it for your main meal. It is really delicious and nutritious, and it's packed with ingredients. It does take a little bit of prep time, so you do need to be a little bit organised with that, with 20 to 30 minutes on average. I'll just go through some of the ingredients that you need now before we actually start the cooking process. So here are the ingredients. I'll just zoom in as I go through the various ones. So here we've got 3 of the spices. I've just separated them just so you can see roughly the amounts. I will obviously put the ingredient list in and the actual method in the description box below the video, so you can get the full details there if you want to have a go at this, which I highly recommend. So what have we got? So firstly, we've got a teaspoon of cumin, and we've got 10 cardamom pod seeds. That's those little black ones there. That's from 10 cardamom pods. You've also got half a teaspoon of turmeric. I just use the powder for this particular. I mean, by all means, you can, you know, experiment with what you want. I mean, I tend to pick a recipe and adjust it anyway because everybody's got different taste buds. All right, so the other thing that we're going to use is just going to have a pinch of salt. I use this one is a sea salt, Celtic sea salt. It's actually got about 82 different minerals in it, so it's a really good quality sea salt. If you can get that, that's even better. I do try and get organic where possible. I know it's not always possible to get everything organic, but if you're able to, then obviously you're going to get more benefits and more nutrition from the actual meal. Okay, so we've got 2 large garlic cloves. Now you can either crush them or chop them. I actually just prefer to chop them. And then we've got the zest of 1 lemon and the juice of 1 lemon, so none of that is wasted. We've got some chopped coriander here. Now it's about a handful, but in all fairness, you can use parsley. Just again, experiment. I've done parsley and coriander. It doesn't, I mean, they're both slightly different flavors naturally, but just experiment with what you want to do. But today we're going to use some coriander. We've got 1 large onion chopped finely. We have 1 large carrot chopped finely. We have about 1 to 2 inches of peeled and grated ginger. Again, depending on your taste buds, you can, you know, 1 to 2 inches. I've got about sort of 2 inches there. And also about 100 grams of red lentils that have been pre-washed. It's really good to give them a wash beforehand because it's amazing what comes off them when you give them a good scrub. So those are already prepared. And at the back we have about 400 mils of water. You might need a bit more water as you go along, but just see what the consistency is like. And we've got equivalent of 400 mils of soya milk. Now you can use any type of milk really here. It really depends on your needs. Now, because I can't have dairy, I could have gone for goat's milk as an option to ordinary cow's milk, because a lot of people can't have cow's milk. But for this recipe, it's very nice with soy milk. You can use coconut milk. I can't particularly have coconut milk on my current diet plan, but for just experiment, there's various ones, almond milk, oat milk, there's various ones that you can experiment with. But for the recipe I'm doing today, we're using soya milk. And just for the record, like probably a lot of people, I was put off soya milk initially until I found out a little bit more information. And like anything, I mean, yes, there's a lot of bad soya out there, but just do your research. And I think if you just go for something plain that's organic and that has the soya bean in it and little else, I mean, the milk I buy is organic. It's called Plenish, and it literally has spring water and the soya bean, and that's it. You really want something that's not got loads of things added to it if possible. And finally, we have some ghee, pre-made ghee, which check my other recipe out and it shows you how to make that, or you can actually purchase it from the supermarket. We're going to need about 2 tablespoons of ghee for this recipe. So that's, in a nutshell, the ingredients that we need. Again, I will list them in the description box, so don't worry about trying to remember all of this. So now I'm just going to start preparing and show you what we need to do next. So to start with, you just get a decent size saucepan. It's not going to be a massive amount of soup, but you'll probably get about 3 or 4 portions out of it. So once you've got your decent saucepan, just a wooden spoon, and you want to melt the 2 tablespoons of ghee. As I mentioned in a previous video, ghee is the best one for heating. It doesn't turn toxic, and it's still beneficial for the body. So we're just waiting for that to melt. I'm using a induction hob, and it's about 7, so it's not on the highest heat, but it's about 7, which is about 3/4 of the highest, just to melt it gradually. And then what we're going to do, once that's melted, we're going to pop the onions in. So I'll just do all of those. Just let those sizzle. I don't know about you, but I love the smell of cooked onion when it's frying. Okay, so what we're going to do next, we're going to put the garlic in. So just get the remainder of that. Now we're just going to give this a few minutes just to fry gently, so it's a light golden brown colour, and then we'll go to the next stage. After a couple of minutes, if you just want to add the carrots, chopped carrots in, and the ginger. Yeah. Just give it a stir. Okay. So we'll just leave this for a few more minutes and just allow that just to absorb, just soften slightly, and then we'll come back to it. After it's been cooking just for a few minutes, you'll see it's starting to go a light golden brown. We're going to add the 3 spices into the mix, which was turmeric, cumin and cardamom seeds. And what we're going to do is we're just going to allow that, stir it in, and we're going to allow it just to fry a little bit longer, just for a couple more minutes. You'll start to get a lovely rich aroma from the spices coming up very, very quickly, and a lovely rich golden colour. You'll also notice the carrots and onions softening a lot more. So after you've been frying that just for a few minutes, or 2 to 3 minutes really, and you've got that lovely aroma, what we're going to do next is we're going to add the milk. So we've got the 400 ml of soya milk, the 400 mils of water, and also the 100 grams of the red lentils, which I'm going to need both hands for this. Okay, so once you've got all of those in, so that's the soya milk, the water and the lentils, what we're going to do now is we're going to up to boiling point. So this is the highest, number 9, and we're going to let that boil. Once it comes to boiling point, we're going to reduce the heat. So once it's came to the boil, all you need to do is just reduce it, and we're going to reduce it to simmer. So I'll put it down to about number 4, just to a lower heat, and just allow it to simmer. And we're going to leave that now for 15 minutes, and then we'll come back to it. So whilst this is simmering, I'm just going to explain the next process. We will be obviously putting the remainder of the herbs, the lemon zest and the salt in shortly, once this has simmered long enough. But what we're going to do is we're going to use, I'm actually using a blender to blend all the ingredients together and to make it smooth. You can use a handheld blender. I prefer to use my multi-blender, which has got a glass thermal jug, which I'll just show you. So here it is. It's a thermo-resist one, so obviously any hot liquid or fluid, you know, it's not going to make a difference. So just be aware of that if you are using an ordinary food processor with a blender. And I mean, the other option, you can have a soup maker if you have one. That's another option. But this is what I'm going to put it in once it's cooked, and yeah, we'll go from there. So we're just coming up to the 15 minutes. So what I'm going to do, just going to take the lid off, get rid of the steam, and we're going to add the lemon zest, the lemon juice, and the coriander all chopped. And also a pinch of salt. I like to put a good pinch in, so I quite like the salt. And then we're just going to give that a stir. Just leave that for about a minute or two. Okay, so we're just about done now. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to turn it off. Right, so what I'm going to do, the easiest way to put this into the jug is to transfer it into a smaller jug. It'll be easier to pour into the glass jug without it going everywhere. So I'm just going to do that now. Okay, so I've just transferred it into the thermal jug, as you can see. The lid's on tightly, and we're below the maximum fill line, which is about there. If you do have, obviously, you want to do it the same way and you have more than enough, just do it in 2 batches. That's what I do. So if you've done a larger amount, you'll just need to blend it separately and then add it all together. So we're just going to give this a go now. So we're switched on. Bits at the bottom are all chopped up. Okay, so I'll do this for a couple more minutes just to make sure it's well blended, because I like mine really smooth. Some people might prefer sort of bits in the soup, but I really do like it blended quite well. So I'll just pause this while I blend it a bit longer. So I've just transferred the blended soup, and you can see it's this lovely, it's actually more of a sort of a slightly greeny yellow colour. You can't really see it so much in this light, but it's lovely, delicious soup. So you should get about, I'm just gonna ladle some of this out. Probably about 3 to 4 portions, maybe a bit more, depending on obviously the size of the soup bowl. It's easier for me to put it back into the saucepan, because then if you just need to give it a bit of a warm up before serving. There we go. So yeah, enjoy experimenting. I'll dish this one up after into plastic containers and then put them in the freeze. And it, as I say, it freezes really, really well. It doesn't lose the flavour and taste. So there you go, enjoy. This is lentil and cardamom soup. And I have got a few more recipes I am going to be putting on shortly, so I hope you enjoy them. If you've got any comments, please add them below. Any suggestions, because I know we all do things differently. They're very welcome. So yeah, I'll see you soon for the next video.